Welcome in. Ravens Rundown by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us. Coming up on today's show, I am going to go over some potential free agent targets for your Baltimore Ravens. With the NFL draft in the rearview mirror, who are a couple of additional players that the Ravens could sign to kind of tighten up this roster before we get ready for training camp and all? Look, the Ravens have a little bit of flexibility now after finding themselves in a situation where Lamar's got his contract. Some of that money gets pushed to the future, so a little bit of flexibility. Not a whole lot, but a little bit anyway. We'll explore some possibilities in just a moment. Before we do, if you think the Ravens have had a good offseason, which I got to tell you, I was talking to Big Tex about this, and it was kind of like a nightmare, a scary offseason to get things started initially. And then one by one, here's OBJ, here's Lamar, here's Zay Flowers, here's Rock Ya-Sin. It went from 0 to 100 real quick. So I have very much enjoyed what's unfolded the last couple of weeks. I have liked this offseason for the Ravens. If you feel the same way, like today's video. If you don't feel that way, if you haven't liked what the Ravens have done this offseason, comment and tell me why. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. So I have three potential players at three different positions that I want to discuss today as possible options for the Baltimore Ravens to sign after the draft to fill some potential positions of need to make this roster a little bit better. I think the Ravens already are looking like a playoff team. I think they are among some of the best in the AFC, but there's still a little bit more room for improvement as far as I'm concerned. Let's begin with Yannick Ngakoue. Could we see Yannick Ngakoue make a return to the Baltimore Ravens? The thing with Ngakoue, he has been good everywhere he's been, whether it was the Colts, the Raiders, the Ravens, the Jags most recently. He has looked the part. He has played very well no matter the scheme, the system. He's been impressive. You go back to 2017, he was a Pro Bowler. He led the National Football League in forced fumbles. He was all that in a bag of chips, Yannick Ngakoue was. And the numbers also back it up with Yannick Ngakoue as well. This past season, in 2022, he had 9.5 sacks, 1 forced fumble, 29 tackles, 8 tackles for loss. 2021, when he was with the Raiders, he had 10 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, 28 tackles, 8 tackles for loss. 2020, that year that he was with the Vikings and then the Ravens, well, he was pretty good there as well. 23 tackles, 7 tackles for loss, 8 sacks, 4 forced fumbles. And then 2019 with the Jags, 8 sacks, 4 forced fumbles, 41 tackles, 13 tackles for loss. So whether it's Ngakoue, maybe it's even bringing Justin Houston back, whatever it may be, there's a good market for edge rushers right now. Yannick Ngakoue could potentially be a good fit. So here's what I want to know. Who's a player the Ravens should sign? Whether it's Yannick Ngakoue or it's somebody else out there. Tell me in the comments section somebody that you would like to see the Ravens sign in free agency. This is our pinned comment today. You might get an ad break. If so, take advantage of it. Get your votes in. Tell me one way or the other a player you would like to see the Ravens sign. For the best Ravens coverage around, we have you covered here on the channels. We're talking about your Baltimore Ravens each and every day. News and rumors. We also have the latest happenings on your favorite team. If they make a move, we stop what we're doing to bring you instant analysis and reaction to whatever goes on with the Baltimore Ravens. We do our live shows from time to time. During the season, we got watch parties. This is the channel for the diehard Baltimore Ravens fan. Subscribe now for free. Turn on notifications so you never miss a moment. YouTube.com/RavensTV to subscribe for free today. You'll be glad you did. All right, so we already talked about one reunion of sorts. How about another possibility? Marcus Peters. Could he make his way back to the Baltimore Ravens? Currently, Marcus Peters is sitting on the free agent market, remaining unsigned, and he's been with the Ravens dating back to 2019 after previously playing with the Rams and the Kansas City Chiefs. He's had a very good career, and his time in Baltimore was solid, even with missing 2021 with a torn ACL. he still started 13 games this past season for the Baltimore Ravens and did a pretty decent job. Now, with Marcus Peters, you get the good with the bad, right? He's going to create turnovers, but he's also going to give up some plays as well. We heard John Harbaugh say he's not shutting the door on the possibility of bringing back Marcus Peters, even with signing Rock Ya-Sin. It looks like your outside corners are going to be Marlon Humphrey and Rock Ya-Sin. But what about the idea of letting Marcus Peters go out there and kind of just do his thing? Create those turnovers, just kind of let him fly around, almost like a three-high safety of some sorts. I think that Marcus Peters could be very fascinating to give him a free Will and Dillon role of some sorts that could still be a fit. And at this juncture, this late in the ballgame in free agency, might not cost you a whole lot either. The numbers on Marcus Peters. In 2022, this past year in 13 games played, had 1 pick, 47 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, 6 pass breakups. But you go back to what he did in 2020 and in 2019 as well. 2020 with 52 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, 9 pass breakups, and 4 interceptions. Then the year prior with 53 tackles, 1 tackle for loss, 14 pass breakups, and 5 interceptions. If Marcus Peters is sitting here and he's not having to be taking on your number 1 and number 2 corners, I would not be shocked if we see Marcus Peters get back to doing something similar to what we saw from Marcus Peters in 2020 and in 2019 prior to the ACL injury. So, your chance to weigh in here on the rundown. Should the Ravens bring back Marcus Peters? Y for yes, in for no. Let us know what you think in the comments section, one way or the other. Y for yes, in for no. All right, so we've talked edge, we've talked corner. Now let's talk safety. Adrian Amos of the Green Bay Packers sitting around in free agency. And this is a guy that maybe wasn't the first name that came to mind of who potentially you were thinking of. But I feel like as you get to know him, the more attractive he might be for the Baltimore Ravens. Previously played for the Bears and the Packers. He's been very reliable, and if you talk about the Baltimore Ravens, that's something they are definitely looking for. With all the injuries the Ravens have suffered the last 2 seasons, which feels like more than any other team in the National Football League, they need somebody that is dependable, that they can rely on, that can be out there. Adrian Amos can be just that. And, I mean, you're looking at a guy that is still playing some very good football. This past season, he was the 2nd leading tackler for the Green Bay Packers. And he's also from the area. He's a native of Townsend, Maryland as well. So it would be bringing a guy home. We saw the Ravens do that last year with Kyle Fuller. And now could we see Adrian do the same here of making a move back to play for the hometown team? It would certainly be a very cool story for sure. The numbers from Amos, we mentioned that he was the 2nd leading tackler for the Packers in 2022 with 102 tackles, 7 tackles for loss, 5 pass breakups, and 1 interception. The numbers, are they earth-shattering? No, but they're not bad by any means. 2021 with 93 tackles, 8 pass breakups, 2 interceptions, and in 2020 and 2019, he had 2 interceptions in each of those seasons as well. So with that said, what is the biggest need remaining for the Ravens? Today we talked safety, we talked corner, edge rusher. I know some of you have said the running back position potentially. You got the quarterback taken care of. Maybe the interior of the offensive line. What comes to mind in particular? Let me know in the comments section what the biggest need you believe still exists for the Baltimore Ravens at this point in time. Hit me up on social media, the Twitter as well as the Instagram. Hanging out with Zuck and Elon and all those guys on social media at Tyler Jones Live. That's where you can find me there. And I shall see you next time here on the channel as we cover your Baltimore Ravens. Stay tuned. It is going to be a very fun next few weeks ahead. Just because the draft's over doesn't mean that we don't have Ravens football to talk about. We got plenty of Ravens football to talk about over the next couple weeks. Stay tuned to the channel. We'll have you covered. We'll see you next time.